Testing. I think it's okay now. Let me know if you can hear me. I think it's okay now. This light's a bit bright. We've got some people in the chat there already. All right, cool. So it turns out that watching Strange World on Netflix and live streaming are not compatible, plus probably a reset there helped a little bit. But we're back. Welcome everybody back to CanHammer TV live from my new basement, and thank you very much for joining me again on the live stream. I literally just looked it up. It was April 26th was the last live stream. That was probably the CanHammer Team Tournament 2022 wrap-up show. And that, I believe, was the last time I streamed. So it's good to be back. And tonight we'll be talking about a whole bunch of things just to update people and about what's been going on, what's happening now, and what we plan to do in the future. First of all, thank you very much if you're still with us from before. Sorry we took such a long break, or I'll say I took such a long break, but really needed to do it. But it's good to be back. And thanks for sticking with us. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for discovering us. And please support the channel, like, subscribe. We still have a Patreon, and there are some brave souls who stuck with us through the Patreon all this time. And so thank you very much. We do appreciate all the support. Even though I took a break, the podcast has been going strong. Basically, Francois took over the CanHammer podcast, and him and Jeremy Atkinson, basically doing the podcast now. I think Chris is back on there quite often, and other people as well. And they're putting out regular shows. And so do check out the podcast on whatever program you listen to podcasts on. That is not live streamed anymore, and that will probably stay offline as a podcast. And it's just easier for everybody. We went through that period of time where we were live casting, and that was super fun. But it's just easier to keep it very consistent if it's separate and it's offline, and so that works better for everybody. So that's one of the channel updates, is that the CanHammer podcast is going to stay offline, so you can get it there, and it's going to be regular, and it's very well produced. It's great. So do check out the CanHammer podcast. It's still going, and it's still going strong. All right. So what has been going on? Well, as I already mentioned, I took a bit of break from 40K. The game was in a crazy place. I'll admit it. We just got the nerf bat, and army after army coming out was super strong, and it was just not a great time to play. And then my basement got hit with reno. Well, it didn't get hit. We decided to renovate it, and then so I lost my hobby space, lost the table space. Nowhere to play, nowhere to paint, so there was very little motivation to play at that time. I have stayed kind of in the community, and so all the things that have been going on, didn't pay so much attention to what's crazy and what's not crazy, but kind of know about all the releases and things like that. So I'm not totally complete out of the loop, but I certainly, until recently, hadn't played a game in a long time. And I really thank the guys on our Discord. Our Discord has become its own living organism, regardless of whether I've been on it or not. And the Discord, the CanHammer Discord, is still a bumping, thriving place, maybe even more so than it ever has been. So if you do still want to check it out, it's right there. The Discord is a big community of great people, and it's carried on through all of this, even when I've not been on it. So although I've been keeping my eye on it, just in case. So that's basically what happened. I'm not going to go into detail about the basement reno, but all to say is that it took like a year. It took a year to do this stupid reno, and it's still not technically finished. The game space I'm in right now is not going to be the official game space because I'm waiting for cabinetry, and that for some reason is taking months and months and months. but it's basically finished, and so we can set up a game space in the bedroom and use that, which is kind of nice actually. I'm going to show you in a second. But so that we just moved my computer back downstairs this week. I had my first or second game of 40K just this weekend with Phil down here. And so it's looking good. And we've got a nice space here set up, and it's going to be really great for streams. So let me show you since we're at it. So here we go. This is the current game space. So what's funny, this is now a guest bedroom, but this used to be where I used to play before. If you remember, that used to be a glass block window that was always behind the visiting player. This window was never here. And that was like where the TV and my hobby space used to be over there. But of course now this is a bedroom. It's been walled off. There's the door. And the table is actually where it exactly used to be. I used to sit here, and behind me used to be all the shelves with all my models on it. Of course, those shelves are gone now. So this is actually where the table was before, and it's fun, ironically, here again. But here's the space currently. Now the actual gaming space, because this is going to be a bedroom, is probably going to be in the other area over there, which is much nicer. But for now, it's here. And so you can see we've got a new simplified setup. Our lighting is much better now, so we don't need these lights anymore. So the table space is going to be very much clearer. We've just got one heavy duty stand. I'm no longer allowed to stick things to the ceiling because the ceiling is now fully done. So I have this rig set up, which is great. And then there's going to be a camera there for the dice cam. There's going to be a camera there for like a side diagonal table cam. And then we've got the overhead. We've got this roving camera that I'm holding right now. And then we can also use this camera. And so the plan is, put that away. So the plan is actually, so moving forward, we're going to do live 40K twice a month. So I want to make sure, I'd rather have it consistent and scheduled so people know when it's going to be, rather than what it was like before, which was sometimes it was then and some other time. And we're gonna have it, so we're gonna have it every 2 weeks on a Wednesday night. It's gonna be me, Francois, and Phil streaming some live 40K. And we're gonna switch it around. Two out of the three of us will be playing at any one time, and the other person will be sitting here running the stream, changing all the numbers, the scores, the CPs, responding to questions, reading questions out to us. Like it's kind of the trend right now in good quality 40K streaming. So we're gonna have a much more smooth thing. The people who are playing can focus on playing instead of me having to jump back and forth and change all the numbers and everything. Is gonna be much better. And so we've committed to doing that twice a month and to make it regular, and so everyone knows when it's gonna be. Obviously, it would be nice if we did try to do more, but we got to be reasonable. We got busy lives. We want to make it rather have it more reliable and less frequent than having it haphazard. So we decided to do that, and we'll see how it goes. So the first live stream is going to be on the 25th, January 25th. It is a Wednesday night. And because now my daughter is in a condition where she can look after herself, the streams will be earlier. They're going to start at around 7:30, 8 o'clock, where they used to start at 9 o'clock or later. So it's going to be earlier, maybe helps our European viewers a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit earlier. It also means that we don't have to stay up so late to play 40K. So that's kind of the new streaming for live 40K that we're going to do twice a month on a Wednesday evening, earlier, a better produced setup, and that's the setup you're going to see. And yeah, so it's going to be cool. So that is one of the things I wanted to update people on, is what we're going to be doing on the channel in terms of live 40K. So we talked about basement podcast shows. So in terms of other shows, so as I mentioned, you know, it's pretty busy these days. I don't want to overburden myself. One of the reasons why I ended up taking a break is because there was too much to keep going. There was the Tactica, then there was podcasts, and there was games. It was too many things going on, and you kind of get burned out. So what I wanted to do was to bring back some shows. but certainly they won't be as frequent as before. And they may just be kind of impromptu shows when stuff happens, as opposed to trying to come up with something every week or every 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've left that open and up in the air. For now, you got to give me a little bit of time to get back into the swing, start playing again, learn my army again, although it hasn't really changed. And more learn what other armies are doing these days. Learn the meta again. I just played Phil last weekend. He was playing Blood Angels. He had like 1,000 free Inferno pistols and basically just melted me off the board. It's like, I'm like, man, yeah, it was crazy. But 6 Wardens did kill 11 Sanguinary Guard. But anyway, so it was an interesting eye-awakening experience again, and so just give me a bit of time to catch up on things. Obviously, we've had big changes recently with the data slate and the points and a new GT book. So there's a lot going on, and so it's nice to get back into the saddle and kind of learn these things again. So stay tuned. All right. It was here a second ago, but I have a Sigmar army now. So if you didn't know, Capital City Bloodbath, Rob from Honest Wargamer came over. He's a big Sigmar guy, and he somehow convinced, with no alcohol is even involved, he somehow convinced me to buy a Beasts of Chaos army, which apparently there's a new book coming out for. So I bought this whole Beasts of Chaos army. I actually traded my Genestealer Cult army for it. And so now I actually have a complete new in-box Beasts of Chaos Age of Sigmar army that I have not touched, actually, because again, I had no hobby space. So, and apparently they're getting a new battle tome very soon, and I should just wait and see what happens before I actually open anything, because I can still trade things in for other things. So there may be some Sigmar coming to the channel at some point. No promises. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't even know if I can get my hobby juices flowing again. It's been nice not having to paint something, but we'll see. I have the army. It's sitting over there, so we'll see if that becomes a thing. Okay. The thing that I really wanted to do on this channel, and I apologize if you wanted this channel to stay 40K related, but the channel started off way more broad as a tabletop gaming. It was fantasy. There used to be like Batman and all sorts of other games on it. And so one thing that me and my family really got into over the pandemic was board games. And there's many reasons for that. One was our daughter was probably about 4 or 5 at the time, and playing board games really helped her to learn her reading, learn math, also critical thinking, strategic thinking. Also taught her how to play a game and lose well as be a gracious winner, which were things she did not do very well. So for many reasons, and it was something that we could do as a family when we couldn't go anywhere, so we really got into board games. And it's like all of my hobbies, started off slow, but then became uncontrollable. And I'm still hard into board games. So one of the things I want to do on the channel is actually bring board games to the channel. And so I'm going to do that. And I'm not sure what that content's going to look like right now. There's a lot of board game content on YouTube. Most of it is produced videos covering reviews and maybe strategy and how to play videos. Whereas there's not a lot of channels doing playthroughs, especially live playthroughs. So I think that's where we might angle, trying to do playthroughs, short videos, and live games. And because we have a bunch of people around and that I've developed who like to play board games. So stay tuned. We're going to be bringing board game content to the channel, either videos or live, and it's going to be super fun. And I feel like it's a nice complement to 40K, kind of breaks it up a little bit and fill some of the gaps and maybe bring a wider variety of people to the channel. It's certainly something I really love doing, so I hope everybody enjoys that content. If there's particular content about board games that you want to see, then let me know. Send me a message or whatever. Leave a comment in the videos on Facebook, and let me know, and I'll see if I can manage it. I've got a ton of board games to start with, so we'll start with that, and we'll see how it goes. You know, I've got here, you saw on the table, you know, one of my favorite games right now, one of the most popular games of 2022 is Ark Nova. And so we definitely will be playing Ark Nova on the stream. It's an amazing game. So I hope people will enjoy that content. So many games out there. It's crazy. And I'm still trying to work on some hookups to get games. Yeah, so we will be doing some reviews as well, which will be fine as well. That's kind of the fodder kind of content. We can definitely do those. The other thing I want to mention was, so the live streaming, this week I was kind of setting it all up again, and I was going back into restream. So you may have noticed we are no longer streaming to Facebook Live, and that's because the restream has changed since I was last here. Restream now costs money to do more than 2 channels. So we got YouTube and Twitch going, but if we want to add Facebook, we would have to pay, and it's like $20 a month or something. So we decided not to do that. So we're only going to restream to YouTube and to Twitch because we had the least number of watchers on Facebook. So if you used to watch on Facebook, please join us on YouTube or Twitch. And you know, it's tempting just to switch to YouTube completely now, but kind of we got like a bit of a Twitch following. So we'll keep the 2 going for now because we don't have to pay for it. The Streamlabs itself has something called the Ultimate or something now, which allows you to multi-stream as well, just in Streamlabs itself. But again, that's like $20 a month or something like that. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing right now. It seems to work pretty well, and we'll see how it goes. So shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Scari's out there. Of course, Scari's been keeping it going strong this whole time, which is a big shout out to Scary. Thurgood, Second Instance, welcome everybody. Jason C, Slimy Turnip, Garrus 909, Monopoly Family Fight Night, yeah. And yeah, so we got a lot of games. I think I posted a picture on the CanHammer Instagram with my little stack of board games in the corner. It's been taking up the whole side of my living room while the basement was being redone, so now it's been moved to the basement. But we got a lot of games, and we got the perfect setup for showing people games. Okay. So the final thing we're going to talk about tonight, just a short show to catch people up and to say hi again, is CanHammer Team. So CanHammer Team Tournament. That's the one thing where I haven't been out, I haven't given up, which is running our events. And CanHammer Team Tournament 2023 is coming. April 1st and 2nd weekend. April 2nd, of course, is my birthday. See what I give up for these things. CanHammer Team, now officially the largest 40K event in Canada, and may be getting bigger. And it's sold out in about 10 seconds. That was 24 teams in under 10 seconds. And then we added another 8. We had 16 teams on the wait list within 10 minutes. And then we expanded to 32 teams, and we still have 9 teams on the wait list. So we have 32 teams of 5, so 160 players right now. We still have 9 teams on the wait list. We're trying to see if we can expand, but it's a crazy response. There's so much appetite out there. And so CanHammer Team Tournament coming up, super exciting. And we'll be bringing you the usual coverage of CanHammer Team Tournament, the pre-tournament pairings, and all the trash talking, and then we'll do a follow-up show. So definitely we'll be covering that event. We have submitted CanHammer Team Tournament and Capital City Bloodbath for this new GW Warhammer like championship circuit thing. So like the winners get invited to the big championship thing. I'm not hopeful that we're ever going to get anywhere with that. I have emailed and messaged and filled in those forms many times over the years and never gotten a single, even an email back from GW. So we'll see. But obviously obviously we run the biggest events here in Canada. So if there's any events that's going to give some of those tickets away, it's got to be ours. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll let people know if we get a response to those. How many international teams signed up? I think there's 2 American teams coming up, I believe. But as I'm out of the loop, so I don't know who are on these teams or what these teams are called. But I think there's a couple of American teams coming up, and I think there's 2 on the wait list as well. So if you're still one of those teams on the wait list, just gotta wait. Be patient. The sign up was only last week. We obviously, it's hard to do teams last minute, but if you are able to fill in last minute, do let me know, because teams do drop last minute, and we don't have a ringer team. So it really helps us if we have people who can fill in last minute, or even if you want to be a player to help a team that loses a player and doesn't have a backup. So let me know. We need those contingencies for this team tournament. And we'll see. We're seeing if we can expand. The problem is if we go more than 32 teams, now you're going to need more rounds to come to a definitive winner. And the rounds are extra long at CanHammer Team, and so the days become really long. People travel a long way to come, and people generally don't want to do 6 rounds. So it may be capped at 32, but we'll see. We definitely have all the terrain that we need, so it's going to be high quality all the way through, and it's going to be a great event as usual. Capital City Bloodbath 2023 is going to be in August. The exact date is not confirmed, but I could give you a teaser. It is probably going to be the weekend of the 19th of August. So you can mark that temporarily, but it is not confirmed. Don't hold me to anything, but we have to kind of book our spaces soon. So that may be the date for Capital City Bloodbath 2023. And this year we're probably going to try and hit like 200 players or more. So it's going to be a big event. So those are the events right now. So thank you very much for sticking with us all this time. Hopefully we're going to be bringing content back to the live stream. Don't forget to check out the podcast, which has been going strong on whatever app that you use for podcasting. Follow us on Facebook at the CanHammer page so you can stay up to date, and join the Discord. Thank you for supporting, following, subscribing. Thank you to our patrons. And I'll catch up with everybody soon. Probably the next stream is going to be on January 25th, which is the first live 40K game since early 2022. So please join us for that. And we'll see everybody next time.